Puppet emotion, but production.
Yeah. Okay.
Puppet emotion, but production.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's time. I thought I was never gonna do, before I begin, I just want to say, if you don't like Sally, and you don't want to see what I'm about to say, I'm telling you right now, go, leave. You don't have to watch this, okay? This is for people who actually like Sally and actually want to listen to what I gotta say, rather than everybody else going, I hate this character because no one will stop shutting up about her and blah 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 and this that and the third. Because let me just tell you, I get it. You don't like Sally. I ain't trying to fight with none of you. And I just feel like, honestly, I literally don't care what half of you think when it comes to this, because you guys will just say any kind of bullshit to hate on Sally, whatever, because that's what you guys do. And before anybody berates me in the comments for saying, why are you insulting us? No. Because I'm foreseeing a bunch of people just bitching and moaning because, like, the moment anybody talks about Sally, y'all ready to fucking fight, riot, do whatever. It's annoying. Because, like, what? No one's able to talk about Sally without the rest of you just acting like children? And I'm looking at you, Amy Rose Lover, wherever you are. And I'm looking at you, Sonic channel. Ooh, we're gonna have a video on you pretty soon, trust me. Trust and believe we're gonna have a video on you. Because of what you've been saying on Twitter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Making me want to jump out of retirement just so I can do that. But we ain't gonna talk about that yet. That's for a video. That's probably tomorrow. And let me just say this: Sonic channel has been saying some really, really fuck shit. I'm being real with you. It is bad. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay. So, what do we have here? Well, basically, I had this idea. I was watching a playthrough of Sonic Overclock by Salty DK Dan. And remembering that I was in the Sonic Overclock Discord at one point when it was still being made. But I was like, I like Overclock's style because it's like, it has extensive lore of what happens when Robotnik was literally in control of everything. What all the zones were when he had control. So, what I have planned is like a complete rework. Like, what if Sonic Forces actually had Sally in it? And instead of, like, classic Sonic, because when I think about it, do we really need classic Sonic in the story? I love classic Sonic. I'm not one of those freaking fans that go like, classic Sonic doesn't need to be needed. I feel like in this story, in the gameplay and in the story, he wasn't really needed. We already did that. We already did that with Generations. And Sonic Mania was a good game, regardless of what anybody says. Yes, it was a bunch of remix stuff. I still like it because of Studiopolis and the freaking Western Saloon level. I love that. But let's just say, okay, what if after Mania, the Phantom Ruby boots Classic Sonic out, but before Classic Sonic gets booed out after he fights Eggman in the Egg Reverie and Heavy King, the Phantom Ruby shows a character being pulled from their world. And you only get to see a little tiny silhouette. You can barely make it out. But you can kind of see some silhouettes that kind of look like Sally, just a little bit. You're not really sure about it. You're like, what the fuck is this? And then, like, slowly, the Sonic Twitter, and this is like in a universe where the Sonic Twitter actually just hyped shit up and it wasn't being, oh, funny, ironic, ha ha ha. but it slowly kind of hints that Sally's in here. Because Sonic Mania was a celebration of Game Sonic. I feel like Forces could have been a celebration of one Sonic Media, some of the Sonic Media that was the most beloved. And y'all can say whatever you want, but let's just say there's a reason why people are doing Sonic SatAM Season 3. Because people love these characters. And you're probably wondering, why Sally? No, why not Bunny? Well, because one, Sally is more recognizable, and I'm saying in this hypothetical, Sally would be kind of teased a little bit. You know, we show the Twitter team would show teaser images, little hints. I'd have them do in this universe they'd do an ARG of like scrambled transmissions of certain freedom fighters calling out to this person, but not really saying her name. The freedom fighters wouldn't be in here, but tangentially they would. I'm not gonna say how. But the Phantom Ruby pulls Sally out. Because let's say the Phantom Ruby didn't like being used by both Eggman and classic Eggman or regular Eggman or Infinite. So it called out to a person that could help. Called out to Sally. Sally when going into Sonic's world, seeing all these little Sentinel robots that look like very souped up SWAT bots. Again, I would make that connection. She doesn't know what to do. She knows that people are in trouble. She sees it. She looks at a flyer that says "Join the Resistance," not knowing what the Resistance is, but kind of having an inkling that they're kind of like that. They must be like a freedom fighter cell. She goes in. And this is where she meets Knuckles. And your character. Your character would everything would play out with your character the same way. I don't want to touch that. I like that, so I wouldn't touch it. But Sally would kind of be like, Sally would be confused, but kind of understand that she's in a different universe that doesn't have her in it, doesn't have the freedom fighters in it, but she still helps anyway. Instead of going through the usual levels, we go through some of the levels in Sonic history that don't get shown, that are really truly taken over by Eggman. Not Green Hill, more like Sand Hill. No. I would show Eggman literally having a goddamn prison camp. Him just having them work like dogs each day, and you see it when you go through that level. You see a little bit of it when you're Sonic. What's being constructed, and then you have Sally and your character go through it. And she's like, "Oh my God," or something to that effect. And she just sees the Mobians of this universe being worked over by Eggman. Actually, even have Orbot and Cubot kind of be a little bit more threatening here. And I'm like, and I know you guys are like, this is fanficky, Bugsy. Just sit tight, little Jimmy. Sit tight and let Uncle Bugsy just prattle on a little bit longer. So pretty much, I wouldn't change the bosses except for when Tails is fighting like Chaos Zero. And I'd even have Sally like hug Tails and be like, wait, I'm sorry, you're not my Tails. But for some reason, Tails feels a kind of warmth when he gets hugged by Sally. And no, he's not feeling any kind of love towards Sally. No. Trust me, I'm tired of hearing about like fan fictions where Tails is like the goddamn Don Juan of chicks. I'm tired of seeing that. And I'm like, no. But she feels a certain kind of warmth. Like this feels, it doesn't really feel familiar, but it kind of feels like something that should have been there in the first place. Hinty hint hint. But not the point. So everything goes the way it is. Your character kind of gets various pep talks from Sally after trying to deal with Infinite. You basically bust Sonic out. And Sonic being tortured for 6 months, I would still, like, in every iteration of my ideas for this, Sonic gets the dog shit beaten out of him. Like his whole morale is broken. The once cocky hero of this universe, which I'm gonna call, because the games don't have an actual name for what this is, I'm gonna call it Game Mobius for reference. So he's beaten down, and Eggman was about to execute him when your character comes in. Sonic is beaten down. The fact that Infinite and the others really not only whooped his ass, but really tore down his spirit. Then he sees you. He sees your character fighting Zavok. And that gives him enough hope to bust out of that cell and start beating the ever-loving fuck out of Zavok. He's just, like, and it's more brutal in my version. He's like, he has gotten beaten, slammed, electrocuted, and a bunch of other shit. He is so pissed off. This Sonic has been through the ringer. He has seen what war has really done to him. Yeah, kind of like Endgame. There's going to be a lot of Endgame references going forward. So yeah. So basically there's a lot of SOS missions that are more tied to the story. And you even have Sally just saying, let's do it to it. Like doing the whole fist bump thing. Because I feel like the fist bump thing was a direct reference to like Sonic SatAM. Without them saying, let's do it to it. And maybe having your character say juice and jam, because hey, if they could have Rouge say let's do it to it, which is not even her thing. Like, I would totally have, like, either just the juice and jam reference. I'd still keep everything with Shadow. I'd even have Shadow fight Infinite again as a rematch. And have Shadow get whooped as well. Just so Infinite gets to have that catharsis that he beat the Ultimate Life Form, which would give him a bigger ego and make him go, I don't need to listen to you, Eggman. I am far more powerful than you or the Ultimate Life Form. Like, really, this version of Infinite would be so fucking creepy. Again, we had the person who voiced Gara be his voice. And if y'all remember Gara from the early tuning exams, motherfucker was creepy. He wasn't terrifying, but he was creepy. He was like a foreboding presence. And that's what I would do with Infinite. You got a voice actor that can do creepy, but you really just made him more egotistical. But I'm saying, let's boost that ego. Let's fucking get his ego so fucking high because he whooped Shadow. Like, he thinks he's above it all. He beat Sonic. He beat Shadow. He's like, I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. And then your character beats him in one little boss battle. And he cannot take it. He's like, how? How could you have beaten me? I beat the ultimate life form. I beat the hero of Mobius. I have been strong. I'm stronger than you. I'm stronger than anything. I am the ultimate life form now. This is who I am. You know, stuff like that. This is a huge slam to his ego. And even Sonic. Sonic, again, is a lot more angry and a lot more pissed off. Like, he's not like, oh, I got tortured. Ooh, we're back to normal. No, he is a different Sonic. He is a different Sonic. Completely. And he fights Infinite and really whoops and, like, uses his speed. He beats the snake like he did before. But he really starts whooping Infinite out. Like, you really start to see the anger, the frustration coming from Sonic. And Sally is the one that actually stops him. He's like, that's enough, Sonic. And, you know, Sonic kind of feels a kind of familiarness with Sally. You know, I would say that Sally does exist in the game timeline, but we just haven't seen her. And he just goes, Sal? Is that you? He goes, and she goes, no. Well, I am Sally, but I'm just a different Sally from the universe that you're from. Yeah, I would confirm that there is a Sally in this universe, and probably there's another. She's probably out there somewhere with her own version of Freedom Fighters before the Resistance was actually a thing, fighting their own battles with a certain pointy-nosed individual, and even now, I don't know. I'm debating whether I'd have Snively and this robot and this Eggman related. I am like really debating this. And guys, don't worry about the background noise. It's just something that happens when you're me making these videos. So let me just keep going here. So yeah, and maybe like Eggman gives Snively a little bit more firepower. But we don't see that until the first DLC. Yeah, I've thought ahead. This would totally have DLC. So, yeah. Infinite gets whooped again. He's, like, his ego is shattered. And instead of him actually dropping the sun on people, he actually, somehow, the Phantom Ruby pulls the sun down. This isn't a fake sun. This is the real thing. Death is imminent. But your character had the fake Phantom Ruby, which literally pushes the sun back, and you actually have and your character actually has the same powers as Infinite for a bit, because this fake Phantom Ruby only gives you a little bit of that power, but it's enough power to beat him back. I'm thinking, you guys ever seen that boss battle of like what was it? Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit, where the characters are like flying and hitting each other, something like that. And I want to keep the new Death Egg robot because it was fucking cool. Like, the first one was just like a regular one with kind of like a swap bot kind of tinge to it. The other one was a goddamn chest burster, which I'm gonna keep because that shit was cool. Like, Forces had good ideas, it just never implemented them. So instead of a triple boost, Sally actually has all the other members, and even helping Knuckles after the attack that they had wiped everybody out. And Knuckles, I would have Knuckles even feel a lot more down that happened. Like, what kind of leader am I? And I know it's a little bit dramatic, but we're in a war setting. We're in a goddamn war setting. And I feel like this should have been a thing. I wouldn't half-ass it. We're seeing bodies. We're not seeing any bodies be gored, but we're seeing lifeless. We're gonna be seeing lifeless bodies, folks. This would be like Shadow the Hedgehog if it took itself a little bit more seriously. Well, it kind of did, but you know what I'm saying. Because I would want this to feel epic in scale. I would want to make this feel way more grander than it originally was. Hell, I throw Neo Metal Sonic in one of the DLC and actually have Overclock be a DLC. And then they fight Eggman, and Sonic gets into the fucking Death Egg robot, and what ensues is Eggman and Sonic throwing hands like an Endgame. Like, literally throwing hands. They are fighting each other. They're pulling on each other. They're, like, Sonic's pulling on his mustache. They are beating each other senseless. It's fucking amazing. And then the Phantom Ruby pulls Infinite back inside of it, like as his prison. But Eggman tries to call it, but he doesn't call it normally. He uses the cacophonic conch, which again, I don't know why it's called the cacophonic conch. Maybe I made up so many dirty jokes about that, but let's keep going. Like, and then it warbles. Because like it doesn't just call it the 7 Deadly Six, the Deadly Six. It literally calls this thing because they're made out of the same thing. And then it blows up, knocking Eggman. We don't know where Eggman is. Probably he does become Mr. Tinker in this like hypothetical. Who knows? Who knows? But because the Phantom Ruby explodes, it's not just a thing that makes illusions. It literally pulls other things from other dimensions. And because it's broken, it has a bunch of portals set up. Your character really shows the fact that he's strong and he has a little courage. And Sonic and him have this little thing like, where are you going? And your character says, these portals, I gotta go see what's out there. And him and Sonic have this whole touching thing. He's like, buddy, if you ever need help, you know where to find me. It's like, yeah, Sonic. Sally, and then like before that, Sally actually goes and disappears. Tails and her get a lot of scenes together, and she really compliments Tails on his brilliance and just kind of talks about her Tails and her Sonic and Bunny and Antoine and Rotor. And Tails was very young when he met his version of Sally. So he doesn't really know. But the familiarity that he has with this Sally kind of makes him actually call her Aunt Sally. And it's supposed to be like this big emotional kind of moment. He says it at the end kind of tearfully. He'll be like, will I ever see you again? And she's like, maybe you will. And she fades back into her own universe. The portal is still open on her side. They don't really know what to do with that, but it's a DLC thing. And then the DLCs, that's when we get fan servicey up the ass. I'm talking Nagus. I'm talking Snively. I don't even know how we would do this, but I'm bringing Moebius in here. We are getting Scourge. Yeah, because literally, I would open the door to Archie. This game would bust it open. And, oh my god, every DLC would be long. I'm talking long ass campaigns, man. None of this short Sonic shit. No, we are getting fucking long, lengthy, girthy. Yeah, I said girthy. We're getting girthy ass campaigns. I'm just saying. The amount, like, and these are just optional stuff. If you want to enrich the story, you can still play the game and not really need all of this. This is just for I would say, it's for any fan that's curious about SatAM and the Archie universe. And it's also, but it's not required. This is for my Archie SatAM fans out there. I am like, this will be for y'all. And it just enriches the story. And also, we get to see the Sally from the game universe. Because in this universe, in this version of reality, Sonic Spinball is actually canon. So Sally and the other Freedom Fighters do exist. And Sonic and Sally in that universe, he doesn't really have... Sonic kind of has romantic feelings, which would probably make Amy a little jealous, but she's a little bit more mature, so she can actually handle it. So no Amy demonizing Sally. No. So yeah, and I would still have, I'd have the original, like, ending credit song, but then you hear but in the last bit of the credits, you hear a doom, 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 blue streak speeds by. And you get a teaser for the DLC, where it goes back to not, where it's really called, the campaign is really called Back to Knothole. And trust me, I will talk about the DLC for that. And let me just tell you, it's going to be way past cool. I think because I made Bugsy Curtain and watching Sonic Overclocked, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to make this video because because this is just my thoughts, my opinion, my freaking idea. And if it was, I don't know if it would really go well, but I think Archie and SatAM fans would have bought this in droves. Actual fucking droves, folks. I mean, the regular game fans would be like, oh no, they're shoving Sally down our throats. But I'd be like, no, you guys have everything else. This is for you guys if you want to learn about these characters, but it's for the Archie. It's for the Archie and SatAM fans, but approachable enough for new people that want to know about these characters. This right here would open up the doors for more Sonic games. I don't even think Sonic Frontiers would happen in this universe because we'd be going down a different storyline. But that's for another video, for another day. This was just kind of a little fun experiment I wanted to do. But hey, just remember, DLC 1, 2, and 3. You're probably wondering why 3? Well, the best things come in threes. Just thought I'd say that. Peace, everybody.
You watching the Big 3 Bucks Network?
Yeah. Okay.
You watching the Big 3 Bucks Network?
Yeah. Okay.